All right, shin splints, what are they? How do you help them? How do you get them to go away? My name is Dr. Dan. I'm a physical therapist and runner and founder of Resolve Physical Therapy and Performance here in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. We work with our clients in person and virtually as well. So what are shin splints? Now, the technical term for shin splints is medial tibial stress syndrome. So what does that mean? Right, we have our tibia, which is our shin bone that runs right along here. And when we run or exercise, we can start to develop stress on that bone, and that bone gets irritated and cranky, hence the word stress. This can turn into a potentially serious injury and turn into a stress fracture. So if you are experiencing symptoms on the inside part of your shin, get evaluated right away. Pause on running, go see a physio, a physical therapist, your orthopedist, and just make sure that this isn't turning anything more serious. When we have a stress fracture, typically around the size of a key or a playing card, we will feel pain right along here. If you have pain up and down the whole entire shaft, it's probably more muscular induced or fascia induced. A stress fracture will be a little more localized. But again, any sort of symptomology there can potentially turn into more of a bony stress injury. Usually these things happen due to a couple factors. One are a lack of certain biomechanics, right? If you don't have enough hip, pelvis, knee, and ankle range of motion, that can put a lot of stress on that part of your body. The other thing that often leads to this is a spike in volume. Maybe you've gone from running 10 miles a week to 20 miles a week. You're increasing your mileage and you did too big of a spike, or you increase your intensity by too much, right? You go from running low and slow miles to a little more doing more tempo runs or repeats, and that increased stress turns into a painful syndrome. Terrain also, right? Maybe doing more hills, and that also can lead to more stress on that shin. All these things can lead to medial tibial stress syndrome or shin splints. In this video, I further explain 3 exercises that I typically give my runners to help them reduce their pain. Give them a shot. Comment below if these helped you or didn't help you, and let's further the conversation here and get you feeling your best. Exercise number 1, foam roller. What you're going to do here is there's this bumpy thing right on the top of our shin bone. It's called your tibial tuberosity. You're going to put the foam roller just over to the outside of that bump. What you do here is with your opposite hand, you're going to grab your ankle and you're going to twist it in. All right, then you just rub up and down that shin, okay, about 20 times. Okay, here's what it looks like from the side. Okay, I'm going to take my hand, going to grab my ankle, and I'm going to twist it that way, twisting it that way, and I'm just rubbing, moving up and down, getting a good amount of weight on that leg. I'm going to do about 20 slow rolls up and down. Exercise number 2. You're going to back up against the wall. Okay, feet about a foot or a foot and a half away from the wall. You're going to roll on the outside of your feet. You're going to lift them up off the ground. You're going to roll them in. Tap, lift, roll out, up, and down. Just like this. In and up, and then out and down, out and up, and in and down. You're going to repeat that for 3 sets of 10 each direction. All right, exercise number 3 is to improve the ability for us to pronate and dorsiflex our ankle. As a runner, it's important that we have full dorsiflexion because when we're in the stance position, my ankle has to bend. If we are unable to bend and have a high arch or rigid foot, we will be sending extra tension and force up through the bones throughout our body, right? So dorsiflexion and pronation allow us to absorb force, and then our foot then springs back up into a high arched position to produce a force, right? So people that have like really high arches and can't pronate tend to have a lot of shin, knee, even hip and back pain. So this activity is great to help that foot pronate a little bit. Now, what you're going to do here is whatever leg you're working on is going to go out in front of you. Okay? The key here is that my knee doesn't go inside my toe or outside of my foot. Right? So I'm going to stay in a straight line. I'm going to drive my knee straight over my first and second toes, okay, without my heel coming off the ground. Okay, so here's that look from the front. I'm keeping my knee over my toes. And then from the side, okay, I'm lunging forward, allowing my foot to flatten out, and then I come back. The other thing I do is as I lunge forward and shoot my knee out, I'm turning my pelvis away. And again, that's going to work on getting my foot to go from a supinated or high arched position to a pronated, more foot flat position. Now, some of us may have trouble with that. So you just need a little, like a doorstop or post-it note pad. You can use a sock. And you're going to put that just underneath the first and second toe, okay, the balls of the toe. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to rock forward and back, allowing that foot to supinate and pronate. And that's how you do this exercise. When dealing with really any activity, whether it's running, squatting, changing directions in sports, being able to pronate is such a key factor to injury mitigation and reduction. If you have any questions, comment on this post, like it, subscribe to our channel as we are trying to grow it and put out new content.